Hey, what's up there, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551. And as you can see right here, I managed to get a new chair though. My family members of mine bought me a new chair for me to use for my office/gaming right here though. And as you can see back there, that was my old chair though. I'll probably hang on to it or anything like that. But anyway, got a new chair and anything like that. But anyway, we do want to talk about this week's My 2 Cents video for the week of May 15th to the 21st, and we got 4 stories to cover, including Saudi Arabia, or at least a private firm in Saudi Arabia, bought certain shares of Nintendo. A report coming out of the possibility that Nvidia might be hiring people for a Switch 2 or anything like that. The NPD charts have recently came out though, and of course Sony, and of course we now have some more information regarding PlayStation Plus though. If you're interested in where I got source of these information though, links will be in the description of this video, assuming you're watching this on YouTube. But before we get started, I like to do what I like to call the quick My 2 Cents, stories that kind of caught my attention, but I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail though. We learned that basically the ugly Sonic the Hedgehog, you know, from the first trailer of the original 2020 movie Sonic the Hedgehog, is going to make an appearance in basically Disney's Plus upcoming Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Ranger, which is kind of sort of a mockumentary to a certain degree. And I've seen some of the snapshots, and I'm kind of surprised they decided to use ugly Sonic in that one. That's kind of interesting that they decided to do that. That's a very interesting approach that they decided to do, and made me kind of take a look at this a bit more than I would have originally thought. My original response was going to probably pass this movie or show on Disney Plus, but I might consider taking a look at it though now. We also learned that Take-Two Interactive is planning on releasing 8 new iterations of their past games though, which is kind of both good and bad to some degree though. While it certainly is on one hand kind of good in terms of bringing out some of these games that perhaps people never got a chance to play on, maybe possibly bringing them over to the Nintendo Switch. At the same time, we saw how they handle, you know, the Grand Theft Auto Definitive Edition, which were ports of Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and San Andreas, and how that got poor receptions in terms of the development of that, forcing basically Take-Two to apologize and put a lot of hot fixes and patches on it to make the game at a state where it's actually now playable and all that stuff. So given how Rockstar handled that kind of situation though, I'm a little cautious about it. I mean, part of me would like to see new iterations of, say, like Manhunt or Bully or other entries though, but being this is Rockstar and how they handled Take-Two and how they handled the GTA Definitive Editions, I have my concerns about this one, to be exact. We also learned that Konami is reportedly working on 3 Silent Hill projects, though no word on what systems they will be on or whether this will come to something like the Nintendo Switch or not, though. We'll have to see what emerges from this. It's possible it could be a new game, but at the same time, this is Konami we're talking about, and they could just be focusing on just Pinko machines or anything like that. So I would say keep your expectations on check on this one. As much as I would like to see these games happen though, this is Konami we're talking about, so I would be kind of cautious about this regarding Konami. We also learned, especially with Take-Two though, is that they have now recently got the FIFA brand, to be exact though, from EA, after both EA and FIFA kind of parted ways and all. It'll be interesting to see how Take-Two Interactive handles the FIFA brand though. Will the games be good? Will they not be great or anything like that? Will they run into the problem like we saw with WWE 2K20 and so forth? So we'll just have to wait and see. Right now I'm not really a big sports fan, or I should say video game sports fans, the way some folks are into, say, you know, Madden or anything like that. But we'll see if the FIFA brand going to 2K would basically do better than it did over at EA or anything like that. So time will ultimately tell on that one. We also learned that the developers of the Dying Light series is basically working on a open world fantasy action RPG though. Supposedly they are hiring some folks who worked at CD Projekt Red on this game. No word on what systems it will be on, and many suspect that this will probably be years away before we basically officially see the game and all. And it is possible to be exact though, but I am kind of curious considering that Techland handled both Dying Light and Dying Light 2, and I'm also curious if this will make its way to a Nintendo system or not though. We know that Call Juarez made its way over to the Nintendo Switch. We know Dying Light, the first one, made its way over to the Nintendo Switch. We know supposedly Dying Light 2 is coming to the Switch, but only through cloud streaming, which I'm not really so I'm not really sold on that one, to be exact. So we'll have to wait and see in terms about that game though. And we've also learned basically that there's supposedly a rating in the Taiwan rating system that an anniversary edition of Skyrim could be making its way over to the Nintendo Switch. No word about what this version might be. There has been some reports of possibility of adding stuff from, Bethesda's Creation Club or anything like that. So it's another entry of a Skyrim series, which, don't get me wrong, I don't hate Skyrim. I think it is a good game, but I feel like with GTA 5, what Rockstar's doing, Bethesda pretty much is basically beating a dead horse with Skyrim. But obviously, if there's another way to release another version of Skyrim, they will probably do that though. And last but not least, we did see the official trailer for the She-Hulk series on Disney Plus, and I will say it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out though. We did get a clip of the person who played Abomination in the Incredible Hulk movie that was far back from 2008. So I'm kind of curious to see what direction this one is going to go, to be exact though. Okay, with the quick My 2 cent part now done, we'll get started with our first story, and this one has to do with the revamped PlayStation Plus though. So now, ever since Xbox launched, their Game Pass, they're basically their online subscription service, there have been many that have been wondering what PlayStation is going to do. While they did have something like PlayStation Plus or anything like that, it never really, it certainly has a large user base. It never really got the kind of attention the way Game Pass has recently gotten though. Plus there's the same with PlayStation Now, which was basically streaming a lot of the games, and you didn't really hear much about that you might hear it every now and then, but you don't really hear much about that anymore though. Well, over time we started to hear that basically PlayStation Now and a lot of stuff was starting to merge, and eventually we're now starting to see more information that has come out in regards of their new revamped PlayStation Plus. And while I think the PlayStation Plus that Sony's offering certainly isn't bad, and there are certain things about it I like though, I would stop short in terms of calling this the Game Pass killer that some folks out there would like to sort of portray it though. Several articles, including a blog from Sony, has come out though. But according to basically several articles, this one from Push Square though, they say that, quote, Sony has today shared first look at just some of the PS5, PS4, PS3, PS1, and PSP games that will be available at launch with the new PS Plus Extra and PS Plus Premium tiers. This isn't a complete list, but more of a taste of what to expect, though. They talked about how the PS1 and PSP games will be enhanced with save states, improved performance, and a rewind function, though. Some of the games they showed off on the PS Plus Extra, most of them are just games like Days Gone, Demon Souls, Everybody's Golf, Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut. They have Spider-Man's Miles Morales for PS5 and PS4, but only the Marvel Spider-Man PS4, which is kind of interesting considering the fact that if you purchase Miles Morales Spider-Man, or at least the physical edition, though, you could get the basically a remastered of Marvel's Spider-Man PS4, which runs at 60 frames per second and has certain more enhanced features. Resurgent, Returnal, Shadows of the Colossus, The Last Guardians, The Last of Us Remastered, which I still am wondering what's the point of remaking The Last of Us in any way, though. Until Dawn, the Uncharted games, though they do have the Gravity Rush, which is certainly is nice to be exact, though, and some games like Dead Nation and Rejosin. They also have basically a lot of the third-party games from Mortal Kombat 11s to Red Dead Redemption 2 to the Resident Evil Soul Caliburs, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which they point out that some of Ubisoft's games will be part of the new initiative called Ubisoft Plus Classic, which is free as part of PS Plus Extra and PS Plus Premium, so that's not certainly bad, though. In terms of the classic games that they will have available, they have Ape Escape 2, Arch the Lad, Twilight of Spirits, both Dark Cloud 1 and 2, Fantavision, Hotshot Golf, all the Jack and Daxter games so far, which is certainly nice. Rogue Galaxy, Siren, Wild Arms 3. From their third-party games, they have Baja, BAGA, Edge of Control HD, Bioshock Remaster, Borderlands A Handsome Collection, Bulletstorm's Full Clip Edition, Kingdom Armor Re-Reckoning, Lego Harry Potter's Collections. In terms of the PS3, they have PS3 games such as Resistance 3, although I do wonder why they don't have the first or second one. They do have Puppeteer, Ratchet & Clank, all the Ratchet & Clank games and all, including games like Asura's Wrath, Castlevania Lords of Shadows of 2, Devil May Cry HD Collection, Enslave, Odyssey of the West, Fear, Lost Planet 2, Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmares, which would be okay, though, except for the problem that these are the PS3 games that are VI streaming, which means there's no native version, which is probably one of the biggest disappointments about this, though, so it's a little disappointing to hear about that, though. Also, having games like Ninja's Gaiden Sigma 2, while I certainly don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, we do have the Ninja Gaiden Master Collection, which has Ninja Gaiden Sigma 1, 2, and Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor Edge playing natively. So to me, it just seems a little unnecessary, though. Same with games like Devil May Cry HD Collection. I mean, I believe they have that for the PS4 natively, so you could get that instead, though. Or even, like Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare, I could buy that through the Xbox Store and play that over playing it's streaming on here, though. So there certainly is some ups and downs to this, though. But one up that I think is kind of great is that it seems as though you may not have to buy some of the retro titles twice if you already own it, and they might be sold individually, though. Here's what an article from Push Square is basically saying, though. It says, what's this? Sony is in a shocking consumer-friendly move, have confirmed that select PS1 and PS titles launch as part of the new PlayStation Plus Premium will be available individually, meaning you'll be able to purchase them from the PS Store even if you don't want to subscribe. More importantly, though, if you own any of the games digitally from past systems like PS3 or PSP, you'll be able to download them at no extra charge. While this kind of legacy support is to be expected from a complementarily, probably if I'm not saying that correctly, digital storefront, it's generosity we haven't really experienced from Sony in this day and age. Remember, many of these classic titles will be enhanced with new user interface, incorporating modeled quality of features like Save Status Rewind. The company has really gone all out here, which is really rather refreshing to see. So it sounds like if what Push Square is saying and what Sony's putting in their PlayStation blog is necessarily true, it seems as though you could probably buy these games individually through their digital storefront if you don't want to subscribe to any of the PlayStation Plus things, which certainly is nice, and I think that's definitely a good thing for those who may not be down, who may not be sold on getting the the premium PlayStation Plus or anything like that. So I think that certainly is a good thing. As for the service itself, again, some ups and downs. The downs are being PS3 is only available streaming, and while they certainly have a good selection of games, it doesn't sound like there's any kind of day one launches, though, which is a little bit unfortunate, though, because I think that's one of the things that makes sort of Game Pass attractive, though, is that the games will be available at day one, to be exact. So it is unfortunate, though. And as terms of the game trials, though, again, not a bad idea or anything like that, but I will say there are certain things I think Game Pass does better. So my overall takeaway from this is that this is definitely impressive, though. I think there are certainly some areas Sony is doing correctly on this, though, having some of these classic titles natively available and giving you the option to buy them individually if you don't want to be part of basically the subscription service, which is definitely a good thing. I think that's a very pro-consumer approach, though. But I will say at the same time, the downside is that games like the PS3 can only be done through cloud streaming, which is a little bit unfortunate, and there's no day one release, which is also, in my opinion, kind of unfortunate, though. So it means you may have to wait a while until the game gets into PlayStation Plus if you want to claim it or anything like that. So I would say it's kind of a mix, though. I think I like what Sony is doing, don't get me wrong, but I would certainly stop short in calling this a Game Pass killer or anything like that. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll get to part 2, and this one has to do with April's NPD. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of my 2 cent video for this week. And for this one, we're going to be taking a look at April 2022's NPDs. And we finally got this one comes out, and it seems to be that there are a couple things that have came out of this, and that is one game may have basically overtaken what would normally be like a bestseller, and that has to do with Elden Ring basically overtaking Call of Duty Vanguard in a certain way. In several articles, including this one from VentureBeat, it points out basically that it was a big months for console hardware sales in the United States due to increased supply, according to industry tracking firm the NPD Group. That led to year-on-year growth in that category, but the industry overall was down due to slower gaming content sales. This is likely due to less interest in games like Call of Duty Vanguard, though. So in terms of basically the top best-selling games of April 2022, the list has basically the following, though. Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga at number 1, Elden Ring at number 2, MLB The Show 22 at number 3, Kirby and the Forgotten Land at number 4, Nintendo Switch Sport at number 5, Call of Duty Vanguard at number 6, Horizon Forbidden West at number 7, Mario Kart 8 at number 8, no pun intended, Gran Turismo 7 at number 9, Pokemon Legends Arceus at number 10, Minecraft at number 11, FIFA 22 at number 12, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War at number 13, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at number 14, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales at number 16, 15 I meant, sorry. Number 16 is Animal Crossing New Horizon. Number 17 is WWE 2K22. Number 18 is Mario Party Superstar. Number 19 is Madden NFL 22. And number 20 is Tiny Tina's Wonderland. In terms of basically the best-selling games of 2022 so far, it has Elden Rings at number 1, Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga at number 2, Pokemon Legend Arceus at number 3, Horizon Forbidden West at number 4, MLB The Show at number 5, Gran Turismo 7 at number 6, Call of Duty Vanguard at number 7, Kirby and the Forgotten Land at number 8, Madden NFL 22 at number 9, Mario Kart 8 at number 10, FIFA 22 at number 11, Marvel Spider-Man's Miles Morales at number 12, Minecraft at number 13, Dying Light 2 Stay Human at number 14, Monster Hunter Rise at number 15, Mario Party Superstar at number 16, Animal Crossing New Horizon at number 17, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at number 18, WWE 2K22 at number 19, and Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War at number 20. Over on the top best-selling games of the 12 months from April 22's NPD, we have basically Elden Rings at number 1, Call of Duty Vanguard at number 2, Madden NFL 22 at number 3, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearls at number 4, Battlefield 2042 at number 5, Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga at number 6, Far Cry 6 at number 7, FIFA 22 at number 8, Resident Evil Village at number 9, and at number 10 is Pokemon Legends Arceus. Over on the top best-selling Nintendo platform game for April 2022, we've only had one third-party title, and ironically, it's Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga at number 1, Kirby and the Forgotten Land at number 2, Nintendo Switch Sport at number 3, Mario Kart 8 at number 4, Pokemon Legends Arceus at number 5, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at number 6, Animal Crossing New Horizon at number 7, Mario Party Superstar at number 8, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild at number 9, and MLB The Show 22 at number 10. Actually, so it's 2 though, my bad on that one. Over on the PlayStation side, we have Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga at number 1, MLB The Show 22 at number 2, Elden Rings at number 3, Horizon 2 Forbidden West at number 4, Gran Turismo 7 at number 5, Call of Duty Vanguard at number 6, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales at number 7, WWE 2K22 at number 8, FIFA 22 at number 9, and Madden NFL 22 at number 10. Over on the Xbox side, we have Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga at number 1, Elden Rings at number 2, Call of Duty Vanguard at number 3, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War at number 4, Forza Horizon 5 at number 5, no pun intended, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019 at number 6, Halo Infinite at number 7, Godfall at number 8, FIFA 22 at number 9, and Call of Duty Black Ops 3 at number 10. Meanwhile, over with Matt Piscatella, he points out in terms of the hardware, though, he points out several things, including Nintendo Switch features the highest unit sale of any hardware platform for both April and 2022 year-to-date. Xbox Series ranks second in units sold during both time periods, though. Lifetime sales of Nintendo Switch has now surpassed those of PS4, making it the 4th highest unit selling console in the history and the 6th highest units selling in video game hardware platform overall. In consoles, trails only by PS2, Xbox 360, and Wii. PS5 led the April hardware dollar sales, trailed closely by Xbox Series S and Nintendo Switch. Xbox Series has generated the highest hardware dollars of any platform year to date, followed by PS5 and Nintendo Switch. So PS5 certainly had a very good April though, but still Xbox and Switch still perform very well though. And it also points out that Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga Skywalker Saga was the best-selling game of April 2022, which also debuted at number 2's best-selling game of 2022 year-to-date. It was the best-selling game on the month across Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, and Steam platform, though. It points out it ranks among the top 6 best-selling LEGO games life to date. They also mentioned in terms of Elden Ring, he also talks about how Elden Rings was the second best-selling title of April 2022. Elden Ring remains the best-selling game of 2022 year-to-date and has surpassed Call of Duty Vanguard, becoming the best-selling premium game of the trailing 12-month period ending April 2022. So I think when you kind of look at this, there are several things you could take away from this. Obviously, the PS5 had a very good month in April, though, although Xbox and Switch did very well very well though. But I think the big takeaway from all this is the fact that the Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga and Elden Ring 2 became the very dominant game. They managed to not only overtake Horizon Forbidden West, but they overtake what we often view as a moneymaker, the Call of Duty series, particularly with Vanguard and all. And I think it kind of shows that you don't need, not every game needs to be, you need to release a entry every single year. You could still produce a good game, and Elden Ring proves that. Despite being a Souls-like game, that still hasn't been enough to turn people off or anything like that. Now, how that will play out in further down the line remains to be seen, especially if let's say they announce Elden Ring 2 or something like that. Well, the people who bought Elden Ring 1 will buy Elden Ring 2. Who knows? And Lego Star Wars Saga, the Skywalker Saga, doing very well certainly is nice indeed. So, and Kirby and Forgotten Land, that continues to be on the chart. So that's certainly nice. It definitely shows there's still an audience for that type of game. So overall, I would say the takeaway from this is the fact that Skywalker Saga, Lego Skywalker Saga, and Elden Ring continues to dominate the chart though. Despite it being a Lego game, despite the other one being a Souls-like game, people are still buying it to be exact, and the Switch isn't slowing down anytime soon at this moment, and Xbox Series X and S continues to do well, especially with reports of how it overtook the PS5 in Japan recently though. So obviously, it was pretty much a good April for a lot of folks. It's going to be interesting to see what the NPD for May turns out to be. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll get to part 3, and this one has to do with the report of a possibility of Nvidia hiring folks for possibly a Switch 2. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 3 of my 2 cent video, and for this one we're going to be taking a look at another Switch Pro or Switch 2 kind of rumors. Now, obviously, every time we hear rumbling about another Switch or anything like that, though, it has always pointed out to, could we see the next, Switch Pro or a Switch 2 to be exact. So this rumor has kind of gone back and forth on numerous occasions though. Last year we heard stories about basically like an OLED Switch, a more powerful Switch, which while the OLED part turned out to be true, it did not become the more powerful Switch or anything like that, as many people have kind of sort of speculated. They were basing this off the Bloomberg report that came out, which got part of it right, but didn't get the whole story correct though. Well, now it seems that we have another Switch story that seems to be coming out, and this one comes from Tech for Gamers that seems to have indicated that Nvidia may be hiring folks for possibly a game console. Most are pointing to a Switch 2, and this has to do with supposedly a leak that came out from Nvidia though. In the article from Tech for Gamers, it reads that, quote, it talks about about the rumor until now. Anyway, basically the article is saying, according to information obtained from an Nvidia leak that took place some time ago, Nintendo Switch might be in the work, or a new Nintendo Switch, including Nvidia's frame rate boosting DLSS technology, and purely based on Nvidia's SoC. Because NVI is the name of the graphics API used by the Nintendo Switch, NVNDLSS.cpp or same thing, NVNDLSS.cpp and NVSDLSSBACKEND.h are all possible reference to the Switch in the leak code. Interestingly, the code also mentions NVN2, implying that a next generation Switch is underway. Nvidia's development tools are a collection of applications that enable third-party developers to bring cutting-edge software that utilizes Nvidia's latest visual computer hardware. We already know that neither the Xbox Series X and S or the PS5 uses Nvidia's graphics. Concerning the above leak, it could be possible that the only third-party console that might be making use of this new tool will be the next generation Switch. In other words, it could be assumed that the listing could probably hint at Nvidia's development tools for a Nintendo Switch. The job listing has some other requirements. Experience in developing drives for GPU, experience with GPU low-level performance, tuning and optimization, including profiling and debugging, if I'm saying the name correctly, background in the gaming industry or in a field that requires high-performing graphics, creating graphics profile featuring for NVIDIA's GPU enable developers to achieve higher and more consistent frame rates, impending graphic debugging featured by reading and writing GPU register and memories and by processing and manipulating GPU commands at the driver's level. Considering the above leaked data and the new job listing that we just got, it is safe to assume that the Nintendo Switch 2 will be based on NVIDIA's tools that would enable it to use DLSS for better frame rate and more powerful tools to run next-gen games. Again, there is no confirmation from NVIDIA's end about the new console generation development, so this is purely based on rumors. We will wait for word to be official and keep you updated. So obviously nothing is confirmed about this, and it could just mean nothing in the end, to be exact though. That said though, I still won't rule out the possibility of Nintendo doing a Switch 2 or Switch Pro or calling it the next Nintendo Switch though. I believe that more than likely Nintendo will still stick with the Switch concept for quite some time though. I don't see them doing something completely new or going back to basically having both a console and a handheld. I think that would be a very hard thing for Nintendo to do at this time though. I think the only thing at this moment would be to be focused on a new Nintendo Switch. As for, do I think this DLSS technology could make its way into a Switch 2 or Nintendo Switch? I think that is a possibility. I could see a scenario where they could implement that to a certain degree, to be exact though. I mean, I seriously doubt Nintendo is going to aim to make their system completely like 4K or anything like that, or to the level that we see, the Xbox Series X and S or the PS5 for that matter though. So I could see them doing something using this though, which could be useful for a lot of developers who use this kind of technology, to be exact. And given Nintendo's partnership with Nvidia that's supposedly supposed to last for about 2 decades though, it wouldn't surprise me if they incorporate some of this technology. And it is possible they could look at a new chipset though. I mean, the Tegra X1 Maxwell was used though, and it's possible Nintendo could be looking at maybe a more powerful chipset, maybe something more powerful within the Tegra X1, maybe a different chipset, or maybe something completely new from Nvidia. So there's so many directions Nintendo could go with the new Nintendo Switch or anything like that. As for if it does happen, as for when they will announce it, that's the tricky part right now, and there are really 2 reasons. One, you have the Switch that continues to sell very well, even though the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and S are more powerful. The Switch continues to dominate, and the question is, do you really want to announce a new system and try to kill off, the golden goose, the one that basically, so there's some concerns about that though. And two though, you also have the chip shortage situation. So there is some concerns about basically, would this be a right time to announce it though, given the whole chip shortage situation has led to trying to find a PS5 and even an Xbox Series X, although that's being much easier to find. Same with the Series S, to be exact. So it kind of questions all of that as well, though. So overall, I would say I won't completely dismiss this rumor, to be exact, though. I think there is a possibility that Nintendo could be in development of another Nintendo Switch, a brand new, more powerful one, to be exact. But at the same time, there's also, like I mentioned, the Switch is continuing to sell very well, and we have the chip shortage situation. So there's a lot of things being thrown into this right now. So for now, I'm treating this as a rumor for the moment. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to our fourth and final part, and this one has to do with apparently Saudi Arabia, or at least a firm from Saudi Arabia, is buying a certain percentage of Nintendo's stock. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with our fourth and final part of our My 2 Cent video, and for this one, we're going to be taking a look at, apparently it seems that some group, or at least a firm from Saudi Arabia, recently purchased several stock in basically in Nintendo. Now, we've seen some firms, or at least buy certain companies or buy certain stock in certain companies to basically, boost up their portfolio, though. We've seen companies like Embracer Group has purchased several companies, including the recent one from Square Enix, including Crystal Dynamics and Montreal and all, to basically companies like Tencent, which has basically invested money in companies like Epic Games and so forth. But at the same time, with some of these groups, particularly like Tencent, there are some concerns about having their influence on some of these companies, particularly with being that Tencent is from China, with the whole issues of the human rights abuse and everything like that. Especially after we saw how the whole Hearthstone Blitzchung situation exploded back in 2019, though. Well, now we learn that another group, and this one is a PFI firm, or PFI in general, from Saudi Arabia, and according to several reports, they have purchased about 5% of Nintendo, supposedly their stock, though. In an article from Nintendo Life that picked up on Bloomberg, though, it says, quote, Today, the focus shifts to Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Funds, PIF, a government-run sovereignty wealthy fund. As reported by Bloomberg, PIF has acquired about 5.01% stake in Nintendo, stating that the move is for investment purpose. That stake makes it the fifth biggest shareholder of Nintendo. Bloomberg cited a Nintendo spokesman as saying that the company heard about the investment from news report and will not comment on individual shareholders. Saudi Arabia's PIF has been particularly active this year. In February, it spent around $1 billion US dollars on stakes across two businesses. The biggest chunk was spent on 5% on Nexon, a Korean firm with a hugely successful online games. The most noticeable investment from a Nintendo console perspective, however, was the purchase of 5% of Capcom, which amounts to around $332 million in values at a share price at that time. Elsewhere, electronic gaming development company, a subsidiary of Mohammed bin Salman, if I apologize, I'm not saying this incorrectly, Foundation, now reportedly owns over 96% of iconic gaming company SNK, having begun its investment in the company back in 2020. Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund has also had a high-profile stake in Activision Blizzard, pending the formidable Microsoft takeover. EA and Take-Two, and has generated a lot of headlines in sports due to its purchase of a controlling stake in Newcastle United FC in England, along with its funding in the upcoming LIV golf event. The investment of Saudi Arabia's PFI in recent years has drawn attention and criticism due to issues such as the country's human rights records, which organizations such as Amnesty tracks the nation's action in this regard. Now, there have been some people who have come out basically talking about how this means that Saudi Arabia is going to control Nintendo or something like that. However, some have chimed in on this as well, including some in the comment sections, basically pointing out, saying, this one person basically points out saying, quote, to the people who are worried about that 5% purchase, don't be. It's a stock price. anyone can own Nintendo stock. You can own Nintendo stock. This won't have any effect on Nintendo's executive decision. That's for shareholders, not stockholders, though. And like one person basically pointed out, I think one person pointed out is that it's one thing you can buy stock from a company, particularly a Japanese company, but owning it is a completely different story, though. So I would say I understand why some people are concerned and why I think some of it's blowing way out of proportion. If it's just the stock, though, I mean, it's a publicly owned stock, so I mean, I could buy Nintendo stock if I wanted to be exact, though. I think why some people are concerned, and I think is that the money is going into the Saudi Arabia regime, which, as we pointed out, is given its record of human rights abuse. There's also the concern about the possibility of this becoming like what we saw with the Hearthstone Blitzchung situation, where Activision Blizzard suspended him over his Free Hong Kong comment, which opened up enormous backlash and raised the question about a lot of these companies doing business in China in terms of, turning the other cheek when it comes to their human rights abuse and everything like that. So there's some concerns about a situation like that happening, though. I'm not sure if that kind of situation is going to happen or not, to be exact, but I'm not. We'll have to wait and see. And the fact that they own 96% of SNK is kind of interesting, though, but I've yet to see them, telling SNK to do this or that, especially when it comes to their character designs or anything like that, though. So it's sort of interesting to see Saudi Arabia, or this PFI firm from Saudi Arabia, be buying a certain percentage of like Nintendo stock and all that stuff. But like I said, a lot of this is going into the regime in Saudi Arabia, which is known for its human rights violation. And I can understand why some people might be a little bit concerned to some degree, just like how a lot of people are concerned about Tencent, investing in companies like Platinum and Epic Games, to be exact. Although I do remember hearing Tim Sweeney come out when this whole Blitzchung situation, saying just because they got Tencent invested in them hasn't stopped them from speaking out about China's, human rights abuse or anything like that. So overall, I'm sort of mixed on this, though. It doesn't seem like to be a huge deal, especially since it's the stock. It's not like they're buying the whole company, though. But I can also understand why some of these companies that are stationed in countries with human rights issues, though, and human rights abuse, I can see why some people may be a little bit uneasy about this, though. Okay, this concludes this My 2 Cent video for this week. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about the PlayStation Plus and some of the features that they're offering? Do you think that you like some of the features that they're offering to it, including the classic games, though? Do you like the fact that you could probably buy some of these games without being part of the PlayStation Plus subscription? Do you think it's better than Game Pass? Do you think it's not better than Game Pass or anything like that? What are your thoughts about April's 2022 NPD? Are you kind of surprised to see Elder Rings is still doing well? Are you kind of surprised to see Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga do well? Indeed, though. What are your thoughts about these hiring from Nvidia? Do you think this is a sign that this could be for the Switch 2 or the Switch Pro or the next generation Switch? Or you don't really think it's aiming for that direction, though? And what are your thoughts about this PFI firm from Saudi Arabia owning 5% of Nintendo's stock, though? Do you think that there's a concern that this could be are you concerned about a company from a country that's known for its human rights abuse? Do you think that's going to be a big issue? Do you think it's a big deal? Do you think it's not a big deal and you think people are blowing it way out of proportion? Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And if you do like this video, I hope you hit the like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You could do it through PayPal Me or Patreon. Links will be in the description of this video, assuming you're watching this on YouTube. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that'll be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day then. Bye!